This episode is brought to you by Indeed. Stop waiting around for the perfect candidate. Instead, use Indeed sponsored jobs to find the right people with the right skills fast. It's a simple way to make sure your listing is the first candidates see. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs have 4 times more applicants than non-sponsored jobs. So go build your dream team today with Indeed. Get a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
Baseball is back, and the first pitch is on Netflix. The New York Yankees, led by 7-time All-Star Aaron Judge, head to the San Francisco Bay to take on Rafael Devers' San Francisco Giants. This season kicks off with one exclusive opening night game. Watch MLB Opening Night, the New York Yankees versus the San Francisco Giants, live on Netflix. Wednesday, March 25th at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific.
Join us on the second edition of the Wrap this week as we discuss domestic action with both Gwali and Brython going for semi-final glory. Dragons and Cardiff are going up against South African sides away, and the Ospreys and Scarlets are also playing. Keep tuned to Hello and welcome back to the Wrap. We are here with our second episode of the week, which has definitely been done at a different time from the first one. I'm still joined by the regular crew of Nick, Dan, and Hattie. I'm not going to bother asking how you all are because it feels like only moments ago we last spoke. So this is our second episode of the week, as I've just said. This is going to be more focused on the news in Welsh Rugby and the URC. So we're going to go straight into our news. So Nick, busy news desk. Let's bang it out.
Okay, Ospreys last Tuesday confirmed that Phil Cocasinga will be leaving after 2 seasons and he's joining the Osprey exodus to Gloucester. He made 18 appearances and scored 4 tries. And it's a bit of a sign of the times, I guess. Sad times, because he's a player who's had a good season. Didn't play that much last year, but he could play 12 or 13. And I would have thought he's a player we would want to have re-signed. And I guess with Debbie Lake, Jack Morgan, James Fender, and now Phil Cocasinga leaving the Ospreys, and we heard, I'm sure the ED will perhaps dive into this a bit more, that the Ospreys are losing 2.5 million a season. It's going to further reduce their costs for the next financial year. So I'm not sure if they'll even be the last of the leavers, because we've got several high-profile players out of contract this summer. Time will tell with that one. 3 Welsh youngsters have extended their senior academy contracts at Bath. The club announced that Thompson Cowan, who a few years ago played in the back row for the 20s, and more recently, Ian Davis, the scrum half, and Johan Emanuel will stay for at least another season. And Dragons co-captain Angus O'Brien, 31, has signed a 2-year contract extension with the Rodney Parade Club after one of his best seasons. And only this evening, the Dragons have announced they've signed Tonga winger and Zelo Tuitavuki from the pro dirt side French club Colomiers for next season. The 21-year-old Aucklander played in the 2023 World Cup for Tonga and has got 9 caps. So I'll stop there if there's any comments there.
No.
Okay.
Been busy.
Yeah.
It is very upsetting to me that the Dragons are going to have more Tongans than the Scarlets are at this rate.
Well, I'm sure it does help, doesn't it? You can, with the other 2 there, I'm sure they've had a word and discussed, they've settled in and so on.
Yeah, and I know the 2 Pilotus live nearby as well, so I know that a lot of them kind of congregate.
Going to the Scarlets, actually, and they've announced that defence coach Jared Payne will leave the Scarlets at the end of the season. Former Ireland international, joined the region in the summer of 23. I think he'd worked with Peel in Ulster, have I got that right? Initially worked as an attack and backs coach before switching to defence. So it looks like there's going to be some changes there in the backroom staff of the Scarlets. And I don't know. Go on.
Oh, I was just going to say, it feels to me, and I know that Saucepans will be kind of going through it. I don't know if they feel the same, but for me, it does kind of feel like if we're bringing in a new coach for a new era, they're kind of clearing out the back room so that the new coach can make their own stuff.
Interesting. We'll see how that pans out. And obviously, we heard that Malcolm Wall has finished now. I think finished on Saturday his term of office, if you like, as on the PRB representative, independent chair of the Welsh PRB. It was on a basis that he'd been extended for a year, but Marianne Oakland, who I think I pronounced that right, is Norwegian. She will take over in an interim basis. That's going to be quite interesting how that pans out as well. It's hardly a quiet time to be joining that board.
Sorry,
Newcastle
Nick,
Red Bulls.
can I just say something about that? Just so we point it out there that the reason why it would be interesting is that she has no what's it in rugby at all, or I'm not even sure in professional sport. That's why it's going to be interesting. However, not unlike the people on Twitter who were trying to make out that it was DEI and it was because she was a woman. That has nothing to do with her suitability for the job. It's completely because she has no background in sport.
Yeah, she's
Okay,
sort of just got that because she's already on the board more than anything, it seems.
But like,
Anyway, going to a former Scarlet, Stephen Jones, has been appointed as interim head coach at Newcastle Red Bulls. He was already there, I think, as one of the senior coaches. So he's taken up the reins there. And only this evening, as we've been recording at the first pod, it's been announced the Welsh Rugby Union's extraordinary general meeting will take place at 6 p.m. on Monday, the 13th of April. And the meeting will take place at the Principality Stadium, but clubs who cannot attend in person will be able to do that online. So that will also be played out over the next few weeks. And that's the end of the news.
Excellent stuff. So we had a secret bonus bit of URC action on Friday night as we had the round 2 catch-up match between Connacht and the Scarlets. Unfortunately, the 12-0 half-time deficit for the Scarlets was too insurmountable as they ultimately lost 31-14. I sort of caught bits of this game, mostly using the evening to spend time with kids, and frankly, I forgot it was even on until Hattie reminded me. So, Hattie, I think you're going to have to talk us through this one.
I mean, I don't know if there is that much to say about that game other than did it kind of go how we expected it to? Yeah, I mean, my general takeaways from that game were I think our younger players played a lot better than our older players, which I think I've said in previous weeks. I think the game really, really changed when Archie Hughes came on. I think around like 50 minutes, it was immediately after he came on that we scored our 2 tries. And Joe Roberts' first try was absolutely sensational. I have to give it to him. Our young 15, Jan Jones, was really, really great. He really came into his own in the second half. Having said that, I think it comes down to what I've been saying the last couple of weeks of the rest of this season really needs to be like we're out of it. We have no chance this season, but what can we do to make sure essentially that we start prepping early for next season? And so that's starting Archie, that's, with Costello out, let's get Karen Leggett-Jones game time, which we seem to be doing. Let's
throw him in the game against Cardiff, so we stay up the table. That'd be quite helpful.
Have our younger players get game time. Dan was saying earlier about the under-20s and where they come in the table, and it's about what they do in the future. I feel like that's our season's done. We know that. But we've got this really young core that can be great in the future. So let's work on their development and work on recruitment, hopefully, so that we actually have a tight 5. But yeah, it was pretty shit. I knew it was going. So I didn't get to watch the game live because I was at the Loughborough game. But I had like the Saucepans chat going through, and they were all just like, "This isn't great. This is really quite bad. We're not playing well." And then I watched it back, and I was like, "No, it really was quite shit." And we didn't play particularly well. We had moments of greatness and good with some of the younger players, but they're young and they couldn't string it together as well as fully professional players on the Connacht side who have got that experience.
Can I bring it what's something that was a bit of an elephant for me in that room, and that's your second row.
Dog shit.
Like, I don't think Lousy had a particularly good game, and he had he had a head injury. I don't actually know how he ended up back on the field because he did look a bit very dazed when he went off his HIA. But Jake Ball
And he's
is
had
genuine. Like,
several
he's
in
had
like
a lot of
recently.
he's had a lot of injuries as well as head. And I'll be honest, the Jake Ball that I'm seeing for Scarlets is a shadow of the one who left for Australia. And can we just end now? Now we've got Carter and Dav Jenkins and things. Can we stop the Beard for Wales chat? Because nope. Yeah, I do feel like it's a bit upsetting. I thought there's some wonderful bits of brilliance. You know, the Joe Roberts try Max Page. I thought that was a wonderful moment of individual brilliance.
Mhm.
I think you need a lot more of him. And as Lee's not on the chat, I can say as many nice things about Max Page as I like, and he can't do anything.
This
Watch
is
it.
where
Watch
the
this.
pod
This section
cuts
will be
out and
this
it's
whole
just
section is going to
blurred.
be bleeped. Yeah. So that's that. Unfortunately, is that. So just and Nick, Dan, did you either of you see this game? Anything you want to add?
No, I was out with. No, I was out as well, so I only really saw the highlights. I tried to skim through some of the bits, but
I wouldn't watch it back.
yeah, well, and I'm going to be talking after. Let's be honest, going to Connacht is not easy, but I did it. I think did we do a prediction? I thought it'd be a lot closer than it was, and it probably sums up where Scarlets are this season.
Just to jump in on that, I after the half time, I did think it was gonna like Connacht were gonna run away with it, and that was it. I'm glad we got the two scores in. I didn't think we were going to based on our first half performance, but we basically had like 10 minutes. So Archie Hughes came on at 51 minutes, something like that. We had 10 minutes where we played really well, and then the last 20 were dog shit again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As for predictions, Dan was closest. He was off by 7, so he was off by a full converted try, and he predicted a 10-point Connacht win.
Yeah, I think you could just see the way it was starting to go for the Scarlets in reality, wouldn't it? You know, with players missing, Leggett Jones being pulled in from school and 20s again. Tough place to go and make up a fixture like that. So, good effort though. Good effort indeed.
And to be fair, it's one of the other things we've had to add is that a lot of very key players for the Scarlets were stuck with
Yeah,
Wales
Yeah.
or
absolutely.
injured because of Wales. So, fair play to them.
The only
Anyway, so we'll
only
move on.
pushback I give on that a little bit is not many of the front five were, and it's the front five that lost them the game.
Yeah, I agree. That's fair. I'd just say.
Although we were
Yeah,
missing Alec Hepburn because he was away with Scotland, but yeah.
Right. Who else was out from that sort of department? Ryan Elias.
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 Yeah, it's just Elias is the only
It's just
because
Elias and Hepburn.
as I'm sure I'll get hate from the Saucepans guys, Scarlets haven't really developed anyone in the pack like a proper international. This Kemsey Mathias, who I've made my opinions on him clear in the past.
You're going to have
you know,
pitchforks coming after you.
That's fine. It's fine. Rabina's a long way from Pontcanna. Yeah, so second row I said that they've had to bring Jake Ball back. They're relying on Lousy. There was Alex Craig the year before. Morgan Jones was a very promising prospect. Scarlets let go again. They're really struggling to keep hold of these, particularly second rows. So I think it is something they will struggle with. But I think Garby's catch-up game really, as I said, Scott's pretty much out of it now. It's mostly just making sure they don't finish bottom, I think, for them. So we're going to move on now, and we're going to start with the reaction for this weekend, and I'd like to start with two very important semi-finals in the Celtic Challenge.
Yes.
So again, sorry, Hattie, you're straight back at.
I'm back in. So if you look on the Celtic Challenge website, the times are in fact wrong, because why would the Celtic Challenge website be correct? So I was correct in my prediction that the two games, seeing as they are both Ireland home games, because it's two Welsh teams against two Irish teams for the semi-finals, would be a double header. So they are playing away in Galway at Dexcombe Stadium this Saturday. So Gwalia are playing the Clovers, so that is second versus third at 12 p.m. And then Brython are playing the Wolfhounds at 3 p.m. Same stadium, and that's first versus fourth. They should be both on BBC iPlayer. However, I know last weekend there were issues with BBC iPlayer. Everything was also streamed on YouTube. So take your pick on which one you want to go for. I would recommend the YouTube stream. It's a lot better if you can. But yeah, but it is a little bit interesting. Couple of the Celtic Challenge players from both Welsh sides went back to the PWR this weekend. I know Courtney Keat played for Sale. I don't know if Brython are going to get her back because it is a really important game. Same with the likes of Kate Williams. She didn't feature for Gloucester this weekend, so hopefully she'll be back with Brython again this weekend. We shall see.
How does that work, Hattie? Are they dual registered? How does that work?
So I don't really understand it. But it seems to be like an agreement between the two, or there's like a contract and they'll play X amount of games for one. Like, say, for example, with Gloucester and Gwalia the other year, like Kate Williams, she was playing for Gwalia and she was signed to Gloucester. I think it was like she was allowed to play like 5 games and then she had to go back and
Right.
they decided it was going to be the first 5 games instead of the second 5 games. And they can recall them if there's like injuries and things like that.
Right. So it's almost like a loan agreement, is it? So okay.
Yeah, it's all just a bit complicated. And I think a lot of it is done kind of on just kind of goodwill and favour. Like the international and like international breaks, things like that in the women's game are just not quite as stringent as the men's game yet. And I think going back to play for your clubs in your home nation is quite common. Like the Australian girls and the New Zealand girls have to do it every year. So it's kind of built into their contract. So yeah, I haven't really
taken
heard
me 2 years to be
too much.
registered to play in Wales again.
I think it's really weird and complex, and I don't really understand how it works. And I've heard some things, and I've heard other things, and everything contradicts itself. So I don't know. And if I don't know,
Yeah. Exactly.
um, yeah. But that's it. Still no merch available. So
Unless like the certain rugby history project, you make your own.
yeah, and managed to bruise your thumbnail in the process.
No, yes. Sorry. Does this mean we have to do a? Please, kids, do not try this at home.
Yeah, don't do
Embroidery is
embroidery.
dangerous.
Embroidery is dangerous. You never know when you might injure yourself.
All right. Anyway, so moving back on to sort of our bread, I guess sort of our bread and butter being it's supposed to be the Welsh regions pod. URC is back in action, so I'm going to kick off. So we're going to go slightly out of order of this purely because two of our teams have to go on a little trip, not too much travel as well. So Cardiff and Dragons both going down to South Africa, which I'll be honest, I can't think of worse timing than straight after the Six Nations. I suppose start of the season's pretty rough as well. So Dan, I'll start with you, and on Sunday, Dragons are going to be going against Stormers. So Stormers were unbeaten for the first few rounds. They've sort of slipped off a bit. But so first of all, how do you think this game's going to go, and also then the second fixture you've got against the Lions 6 days later, and how do you think the squad should be managed?
Well, unfortunately, I think like everyone in Wales at the moment, we're pretty threadbare, aren't we? In terms of numbers, our injury crisis at tight end has been widely sort of recognise and discuss with Rob Hunt being out, Sibo Dlamani being out, and now obviously having signed for sale in recent weeks. We got Dylan Lewis. My understanding is he's still on the sidelines at the moment, so we don't know what's gonna happen there. Unfortunately, we go into a nation that don't particularly like scrummaging, so we should get away with it over the course of 2 games. No scrum, no game is there. It's as simple as that, because we all know what happened. What'll happen out there is if we're undergunned at tight dead, it's simple. Scrums will turn into penalties. Penalty will turn into territory, and territory will ultimately turn into points. And that's the way both games will go. If we can't hold our own at scrum time out there, and we're lucky in a way that we only had 2 with Wales. But I would have thought neither Wainwright or Ben Carter will travel. Or if they do travel, they're certainly not going to be playing in the first game. They're on a stand-down period after the Six Nations, are they, for a
Usually,
for a while?
usually at least a week, sometimes a bit more,
Yeah.
depending on how heavy they've been used. Which for
So
Wainwright,
every
very.
week,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, and Carts, I suppose, in the last few weeks, isn't it? Whereby he's played the last 3. Obviously, we're without Shea Hope as well. There was I think there was a hamstring injury in the end, wasn't there? That was the end of his season. So, and we've only got one out and out 10 really, and Tinas De Beer, haven't we? So we're threadbare. So the Dragons are going to go, I would have thought, as fully loaded as possible. Only because that's all we can do. And I think in order to what would be success for the Dragons in we're not going to win. I can't see us winning out. That would be a major shock if the Dragons won any games. For me, it would be to do very similar to what the Ospreys did, and if we can take 2 or 3 bonus points away from these 2 fixtures, then it would be a successful tour. If we, score 4 tries and come within 7, then it's been. But I can't see us coming within 7, so we're gonna have to go out and score 4 tries in both games, and that's going to be the way the cookie crumbles over the next 2 weeks for the Dragons, I think. And we hope to pick up in rounds sort of 15 to 18 thereafter.
Yeah. So from a Cardiff perspective, again, going away, we're probably. I'm hoping we're not as damaged by the Wales call-ups as potentially we could have been, with a lot of our players just not being selected for various reasons. So you'd hope the likes of Ben Thomas, Mason Grady, certainly Kieran Asrath and Sam Wainwright's being available, because I mean, Asrath, you got called up to the squad, and I don't even think he was travelling reserve. So it would be useful to have him, particularly with having Sebastian as our only senior tight head at the moment. Oh, sorry. Technically, it is Will Davis King as well. I keep forgetting about him because he's just mostly a rags player now. Bit of squad news: Johan Mulder will not be travelling. Him and his partner have just had a baby, and despite our comments about saying, well, surely him and his partner would love to go to South Africa. Apparently, it takes 6 months to get a South African passport, so he's not able to go back down, so he won't be travelling. So I think there's a potential for a big chance for one of the academy lads, or Ellis Bevan as backup to Aled Davis. 2 tricky games, but I think Pretoria first up on Friday afternoon is pretty hard test. But Bulls have been quite flaky even at home this season, so I think there's a good opportunity to try and score some points there. I said mostly injury-free squad. We're a bit thin on the ground on wings, but if we're getting Mason Grady back, I mean, we won't get Josh Adams, and I doubt we'll get Mannon, both of them. So again, back row might be a problem, but I think we should be fine. I think, if we can get a try bonus points against Bulls, that'd be great. Sharks, again, they had a bit of a new coach bounce, and that's the wheels sort of came off that a little bit in the last few rounds. I don't think we win, but I think if we are going to target a win, that's the game to do it. yeah, I think the important thing for us is to just pick up a few points, try and keep as high that table as possible. So when we get down to the last few rounds, we're not getting to the point of having to go away to Scarlets and away to Glasgow and away to and home to Stormers, where we desperately need points from it. So that's how I think those are. With that wrapping up the two teams on South Africa, we'll talk more about the second week games next week. We move on to we're going to go to no travel at all because on Friday night at 18:45, Scarlets are hosting Zebre.
Mm-hmm.
So sort of a fun fight at the bottom.
I was going to say it's the Bin Juice Cup on Ladies' Day. Yep, it's 2026 and we're having a Ladies' Day on a Friday night. Moving on from that, I mean, look, people of a certain age, I know they enjoy it, but I know I'm not the target audience, and that's fine. Anyway, we're going to have some people back. We're not going to have our centre partnership back, so I think it's going to be much of the same from the last game, with the addition of, I'm assuming, Josh, and maybe a bit of change in our back three. But otherwise, it's going to be very, very similar. I don't know. I mean, if we can't beat Zebre
At home. And I think Costello, in theory, should, he apparently
could be
close.
back.
He was apparently close to being back this week.
Or at least have Leggett Jones start and Costello come off the bench. If we can't,
Blair Murray and Rogers, I guess, as well.
Yeah, and even if we had Blair Murray on the wing, Rogers on the other wing, and Thingy at 15, still fine. But yeah, if we can't beat Zebre at home,
close the Scarlets down.
It's gonna be.
Don't get me started on Tony from the Cardiff Central's podcast about how he thinks Scarlets are the team that's going to go.
I tell you, that surely that the Scarlets are winning this one, aren't they? Come on, surely.
I mean, I'd be really surprised if we don't, because we have been semi-decent at home.
The Scarlets win. Come on, you're talking yourself out of it. It'll be fine.
I don't think I can believe in Welsh rugby at the minute.
Yeah, you can.
I didn't even really believe that we'd won the game on Saturday until after it was well and truly over. So I don't really know. I'm going to say that the boys are going to win, but I don't think it's going to be vintage rugby. It's not going to be something that I'm going to enjoy watching back.
While the Scarlets have only won 3 games this season. The points Zebre have only won 2.
Yeah,
the points difference is 168. They are conceding a lot of points. The Scarlets got a fairly decent attack. I can't see there being a problem at Parker Scarlets as well. So,
and I think as well, our last run of games after that isn't necessarily the easiest. We've got a bunch of derbies. We're playing playing Leinster. Sorry, we've got to win this.
Yeah, it is a big game. Yeah, I agree. Totally agree.
Right, and moving final. So it's almost Wales-Italy part 4 over the last 2 weeks. Ospreys are away to Benetton. That'll be a 3:00 kickoff on Saturday. Perfect rugby kickoff. A lunch-friendly fixture.
Lunch-friendly fixture.
It's a lunch-friendly fixture, Hattie. I know you love those.
What can we do without lunch-friendly fixtures?
Hang on. Where is this being played?
This will be in Treviso.
Right. Judith, you going?
I am.
You are? Are you going?
Yeah.
I knew it. He loves all.
We're gonna have an on the match. We're gonna have an on the match whistle report.
I'm having a glass of prosecco with Mr. Bradley.
Fantastic!
You'll have to send us a photo of your lunch beforehand as well, because obviously it is a lunch-friendly fixture.
Yeah, overnighter. Nice pasta meal on Saturday night.
Fab. Good on you. Good on you.
And the actual rugby.
Yeah, okay. It's going to be a very, very interesting 3 or 4 weeks, really, for the Ospreys, isn't it? It's not just on the pitch, it's off it as well, but we'll stick to rugby for tonight. We got two consecutive fixtures away from home, obviously starting on Saturday with Treviso, and then we got Connacht the following week, and then we go to Belfast in the cup. And really, it's make or break for our season. We need to pick up some points at the minimum over the next fortnight. And it'll be interesting to see from both sides because obviously a lot of the Treviso players play for Italy and people like Menoncello and so on, whether they have some time off. I wouldn't have thought Dewi and Dan will travel, maybe not Hardy too, but hopefully our other Welsh players will be back. It might be a week early by all accounts for Jack. I think he's targeting more the Connacht game. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see which side Benetton put out. We should be pretty close to full strength as well, minus those couple of Welsh players. So yeah, it's going to be. It's not an easy place to go, but I think they've only lost to Edinburgh Stormers there this year, and they drew in the fog to the Scarlets. So big test, but if you want to finish top eight, it's a place you've got to get a result or certainly get a couple of points. So yeah, looking forward to it. Looking forward to the experience because apparently I was told in Edinburgh by a Scottish guy that the trips to Treviso and Parma are the best trips. So I will be able to give you hopefully a full account next Monday night.
You're
Um,
not
I'll be,
allowed to, sorry, Dan, you're not allowed to say that, Nick. You've got to say that going to Gloucester and Bristol are the best trips.
Oh, sorry.
yeah,
Obviously.
obviously, yeah. I'd be interested to know what it's like actually because I'm going in May. We're actually taking the kids. Blackburn under 11s are going to play in Bennett and Treviso's Mini and Junior Festival
Fantastic.
from the 18th of May. So yeah, I'll be yeah, racking your brains to see what it was like over there for a couple of days. So
What I've seen on the on Osprey site, the supporters club, we've all been invited to the before the game to by the Benetton Supporters Club. Then they got a bar they use at the ground, so
nice.
I'll be heading there
Nice.
just to try a sample 1 or 2 pints before the game.
Oh, yeah, but
Aperol
you've got
Spritz
to
is
just to be
very
polite.
big there as well. Yeah,
Um,
from what I've heard from other people who've gone out to the Benton Supports Club are apparently absolutely wonderful hosts. So I think you can enjoy it there, Nick.
Should be good. Just slightly going back to the rugby on that though, and I noticed this when they come over to play the Dragons a couple of weeks ago, is that whilst they may be sort of undergunned up front, due to Italy call-ups, there's still some strength there, but it's still very much probably what would be their main backline minus Louis Liner and maybe one or two others. You're still looking at Andy Uren, Umaga, Fekitoa, Udogu, Gallagher, Rhino Smith, Ratave. Still plenty of
Some good players there.
plenty of good players in that back line. And
Yeah.
I don't know what you guys think, but Benetton for me have got to be the worst underachievers in this league at the moment, based on the budget they got
Yeah.
and some of the names they've got within that, within their squad and the depth they got to be 13th in the league. I think is real ball.
This league's equivalent of Racing 92.
Yeah, shocking.
And if you're not a fan of the top 14, what I mean there is very expensively assembled, yet somehow really worse than the sum of their parts.
Well, can I just put up, as we were doing before, can I just give a special mention to Edinburgh, who are also very much, and given their budget, huge underachievers as well.
Yeah, I'd agree. And how many teams there in Scotland?
Well, 1.5 based on the national squad.
Absolutely.
And before I get cancelled by yet another nation, I feel like we're as with the
Have
return
we
of the URC.
insulted Ireland yet in this pod? Because we've done Scotland, we've done Italy. Have we got anything to say about the Irish?
I'll be honest, I'm still reeling in shock that they're deigning to have a game outside of Dublin.
Well,
I
no,
suppose it is only women's rugby.
Well, this is it. The Celtic Challenge, women's rugby is not important enough for Dublin, so.
Anyway, with that, I think it's time to move on to the prediction league. So I'm going to do this in just sort of a reminder of the games, and I'm going to do each presenter's predictions in chronological order. Because Cardiff games first, I'm going to do mine, and then it'll be Hattie so forth. So just so we know, that Friday night we've got Bulls versus Cardiff at 5 o'clock. That's only on Premier Sports. Scarlet Zebre, that'll be an S4C game as well as Premier Sports at 7:45. Then the Benton Ospreys game will be at 3 o'clock on Saturday. That again is only on Premier Sports. And then Stormers Dragons, again, Premier Sports, Sunday, 1 o'clock. I haven't checked the S4C guide to see if they're doing a sort of as live broadcast.
Just in the
because they quite
Scarlets
often
game.
do one on Sunday.
So
So as far as I know, Scarlets is going to be live on S4C. They usually show one other game as live, but not obviously usually like Saturday evening or Sunday evening. I haven't checked that. I'm sorry, people. Going on to predictions, I think Bulls are going to win by 12. I think Scarlets are only going to go with 6. I think there's going to be a bit of disjointedness trying to integrate their Wales players. I think Benetton will win by 3. I think Ospreys are going to run them close, but I just think there's just going to be a bit of flash in there. And then I think Stormers are going to beat Dragons by 16. Just because I feel like their scrum is going to give them an awful lot of territory and possession. And then they've got a lot of very nice players out the back who can make the most of it. That's it. So, Hattie, Scott's playing next. So, you get to give your predictions.
So I'm going to go Bulls by 10. I'm going to say Scarlets by 3. I'm going to say Benetton by 5 and Stormers by 12.
All right, Nick, what were your
I'm going to
predictions?
go Bulls, and I did have think this before, Harley, not copy, but I'm going to go Bulls by 13.
We're all very close.
Scarlets by 8, with their fullback Tom Rogers scoring the winning try.
You don't get extra points if that's correct.
I'll get extra points. I'll settle for it. Just the fact that Scarlets play him at 15, I'd be more than happy. I'll go Benetton, unfortunately, by 6 and Stormers by 14.
And by last and no means least, Dan?
Bulls by 14. Scarlets by 8. Ospreys by 2. Stormers by 20.
Excellent. So with that, thank you all for staying a little bit on the line, a little bit longer than normal. Thank you all for listening for both episodes this week. Remember, if you do like what you've heard, please do like and subscribe to the podcast. Leave lovely comments under the YouTube and check out our sister podcast and sister channel. And with that, all that's left for me to say is Nosta.
Nosta.
I'll start.
Arrivederci.